All right. Here we go. Tuesday, Monday. Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning. Look, we match.
Twinses.
Dee-dee. Unplanned. Although I tend to wear this on Tuesday mornings. But
I just grabbed something. I wasn't even going, hey, what is Rebecca wearing?
this is the one of the ones I like the most that's not like Wonder Woman or something. You know, character
It's
driven.
a nice adult plaid.
It's an adult plaid, yes. It's a stylish plaid. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing this morning? On this, what we like to call Monday, which is actually Tuesday, but it's our first day in the shop. And you know how most people feel on a Monday after the weekend and going back to work?
That's us today.
That's how we feel today. Yeah, it's like really, it's a love-hate relationship, right? Excuse me. Good morning and welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Adventures of Liz and Rebecca.
Yeah, that's Liz. I'm Rebecca. And it flows better that way. I like it.
It's Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in Brevard, North Carolina.
Yes, I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in Brevard, North Carolina. We're going to beat that into your heads, you know, all the time. And
I'm Liz. I'm the minion. There.
at that place where we are now.
At that place where we are now.
Where I mean, I angled the camera a little differently, I feel like, today, but I worked so hard over here. Like, you can't see all the work I did because it's off camera, but there was a big gaping hole right above my head for a while.
Right.
And there is a gaping hole if the camera was up a little higher. Still, but we actually got some organizational things done. It doesn't mean the shop is clean. Oh, heck no.
Finally got all the boxes of stuff stickered and have lots to put away, but they're having coffee outside.
I got distracted. I there's a mask and a face shield. It's good to use those together. I didn't realize he was doing such high contact work, the person who's wearing it, but that's cool. Maybe it'll become the new fashion and we'll all wear them. This is one of those face shields that is down here instead of strapping on up here. So they are best when used in conjunction, although I'm not a medical expert. Can't even say the word expert, so obviously don't listen to me. Yeah, I get so distracted. I should probably close those curtains when we're filming, but I would still get distracted because they more keep people from looking in than keep us from looking out. Yeah, it started to rain, so the Bracken Mountain Breakfast Club all decided to sit
under the
overhead, which means there's not as much room, which means they have to be closer together. So I'm glad that I can't see them right now. Excuse me, yarn lung. No, but so my accomplishment for the morning was getting some work done on this, which I'll talk about in a second, while I was at the Transylvania Chamber of Commerce Coffee Connections, which used to be in person. And now because of COVID, we do it online. So I sit over there in the comfy chairs. And my accomplishment, I was going to sit back. I've won one trivia thing a couple months ago. We get gift certificates and stuff for trivia. I wasn't going to participate because I've already won something, which I haven't even picked up. So, you know, it's all good. And then the trivia question started with Prince Humperdinck.
I have no idea how much she likes this movie. We only discuss it every day. The Pit of Despair.
I might have, you know, you're supposed to type into the little chat thing. Yeah, Pit of Despair is what we call the storage space. We have, my best friend from high school has crocheted characters. If you don't know the movie I'm talking about, that's okay, but you should go watch it now.
Like right now.
Quit now.
Watching us.
Take a break from us and go watch The Princess Bride. This was, I want to say, Rob Reiner's directorial debut. Not to be like nerdy or anything about it. It's an amazing movie. It was made in the 80s. It's my childhood. And I firmly believe there is a Princess Bride quote for just about any situation. Or like, you know,
I think we
extrapolated life
that,
lesson.
like,
I know.
here at the shop.
I know. I mean, I joke with my knitters when they're trying to like go fast so they can get to the next thing of our lesson. I say, you rush a miracle man, you get rotten miracles. And if they have not seen Princess Bride, they look at me really funny. Everybody should see it.
I think even if they have seen Princess Bride, most people don't expect quotes to come out of it. So, like, you know,
that means they should watch Princess Bride more often.
That's true. That is very true. It is so, oh my gosh.
It's
Mostly
great.
Dead is my favorite. You know,
Yeah.
Weren't we talking about
But
something was mostly dead?
It's also partially alive.
Slightly alive.
Slightly alive.
No, it's dead. No, it might be mostly dead.
It might be, yeah. We'll ask him. What? Yeah. So it's you know, fighting, adventure, romance, true love, you know.
It's everything.
Because I'm on camera, I'm gonna forget the order of certain things, but I can quote most of it by heart. You know. And I'm still stuck on Quibi, which is only on your phone, you know, to sucker people in, and I fell for it. They're having famous people reenact The Princess Bride in little scenes, and it's all socially distanced. So it's like if there's people who don't live together, the camera shots go back and forth. Like they have Jack Black scaling the cliffs of insanity by lying on a set of stairs and kind of slowly moving like this. Anyway, yeah, I digress. Yeah, I think it's possibly my favorite movie of all time. Even pitting it against the classics of like the 30s through the 50s. And my best friend in high school and I tried to actually write down the script by watching the VHS I had taped off of TV and rewinding and watching and rewinding and writing it in a journal. We're nerds. It's all good. So yes, I was like, as soon as the words Prince Humperdinck came out of his mouth, I was like, I cannot lose this question. And luckily he took long enough asking it to mention when it was made in the 80s that I could drop my knitting, get to my keyboard, type out Princess Bride, and hit send. I might be slightly obsessed.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay.
That's why she's in a good mood today.
Yeah. There's so many reasons to be in a bad mood, and that, you know, I was like,
it's a good Monday.
I couldn't lose that question. It was for a gift certificate to Blue Ridge Bakery, which is a wonderful bakery. There's 2 bakeries here in town, and they're both good for different reasons. So
Blue Ridge is more of an American style bakery, and the other one is more of a French.
And Bracken is more French pastries and stuff. And Blue Ridge, you know, cupcakes, like cookies. Yeah, they both have cookies, but you know. Anyway, I don't know next time I'm going to be going there, but I've got to get a certificate somehow. I will pick up. Okay, so hey Liz, what you working with?
I'm finally playing with yarn that I spun. Like,
she made that yarn. That's so cool.
This is the first ball of yarn I ever made, and it's plied and everything.
That is not in my wheelhouse at all, so I found that awesome.
It's not the first ball of yarn I've made. It's the first ball of yarn I've plied and washed, and, you know, like,
she did all the steps.
I did all the steps. And this is the second ball, and so I'm going to make something. I'm not going to tell anybody what it is because I don't know if it's going to come out yet. So
I just am in awe that you made it.
I was like, ooh, and I'm leaving all my knots in it because I don't care.
Where is your I don't care bar? And that is what determines what you do.
But I finished.
It's still amazing. I don't care if there's knots in it. It's amazing. Go ahead.
I finished a project last night, so I figured I'd start a new one today.
What did you finish?
I finished my dark Papillon.
It's hiding.
It's hiding.
It's hiding.
So, Rebecca, hold this.
Yes.
So that just
wait. Okay. Daydream Dye Works Papillon, right? Like all
light
Daydream
contrast.
Dye Works with a light contrast. So pretty.
So pretty.
Same colors. I should let Liz talk.
Yeah, same colors. Dark contrast.
Okay, here. Noisy chair. Again, light, same colors. Look at that. It's a stained glass window. It is beautiful. I mean, they're both beautiful, but still. Oh my gosh, this is.
The ends aren't woven in.
Uh-huh.
I don't care.
Do we want to get a nice shot of this without the microphone there?
We could. Ooh,
Hi.
Ooh. You know what would look really cool for a picture?
But the microphone. What?
Hold.
Oh, we're trying something cool.
Art shot.
You need help? This is why we don't plan things. Because planning takes time.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, but
Kind of.
Here, you step over there a little bit. You have to bear with us. You
Yeah.
dropped it.
I know. I keep dropping. There you
Okay, I'm gonna shove this.
go. Ooh.
That's our photo. Okay.
Wait. So I've finished that. I still have a few ends to weave in, but like.
But that, I think, like, Liz has been saying this all along, and this proves it, that the same colors with a different contrast can totally change how Papillon looks. And I might have to publish a photo of that if the quality came out good enough on the butterfly knit along.
Well, we can lay it on.
We can also take some,
yeah.
Well, I might just have to post. Well, I was gonna say I might just have to post this video when it's live, or published, not live. There's a difference now on the knit along page. Although yarn long, we're probably not gonna talk about Papillons the entire episode.
Nope.
But that's awesome. So remind our viewers again. What needles were you knitting on?
I used fingering weight on size 9 needles.
Because Liz doesn't believe in size 4s.
Yeah.
I mean, those are kind of in the realm of reality, but not really.
Those are like
for her.
Close to what I did my cap hat on. I did smaller than those, but like that's little projects, and there's no
That's like a horse with a horn taped on its head versus a full blown unicorn for her. But it's still like you're pushing it, you know.
So they each have the same 30 colors. And
same colors.
Yeah, they're in different order. Because on this one, I kind of planned out how I wanted them to go. Like, ooh, what would go really cool next? And I lined them all up and like sat there and.
So did you follow the same order with the dark one?
No, with the dark one, I weighed them all out. And so the dark one is in order of weight.
Because
so with the smallest amount of yarn down to the most amount of yarn.
This is coming from someone who says she doesn't like math.
I don't. But I had like 3 or 4. I'd have like 3 or 4 colors that were the same grams weight. And so then I'd sit there and play with them. And anyway.
She doesn't like math, but she loves scales.
Scales are fun. You work for a dress.
I'm going to have to. Some people might not have heard that. That's okay.
I've been a yarn mule for a long time.
The Liz and Rebecca show, people. You're welcome. Yeah, you actually have been a yarn mule for some of our customers. Anyway, and now that there's COVID, I mean, there's almost more. It's like we can go shove it in people's mailboxes and stuff, right? Which reminds me, we need to wrap up Amy's order this morning.
Yes.
Speaking of orders, oh my gosh. We love y'all, but we have like more than a dozen orders to fill this morning and possible Vikings outside. I'm almost grateful for the rain. The rain might mean that we have time to fill orders because people will stay home because it's raining, but probably not. So.
Oh, that's going to look so cool doubled.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, she has plans. Yeah, that's okay. I scrolled away from this. We need to scroll back to it.
Somebody told me that it wouldn't work doubled because you'd be able to see all the colors through it. And I was like, well, when it's held double, it won't matter. So I'm going to double it for winter.
She's gonna. Are you gonna whip stitch it together, or are you gonna?
I'm actually gonna put a ribbon through it and like try and match up all the little. Anyway,
have fun with that.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But anyway,
I mean that's both sarcastically and non-sarcastically.
Yeah. So it
She's holding them double right now.
I'm holding them double, so it actually loses the transparency.
Yeah, it actually helps the colors pop in a way.
Because it's really transparent without them.
Yeah.
I just
It's so pretty.
It's all dark and pretty.
So how many Papillons have you finished now?
6.
Completed. 6. Since the beginning of the year?
Since the beginning of the year.
That's impressive.
And
I started mine last year, and I'm on my 3rd right now. I do have a few other projects going on.
I only have 10 on needles at this time, but that's going to get rectified soon. Because winter's coming, and I think I want my mohair.
Yeah. So the morning meditation I did this morning was I was trying to get through a single crochet row on Rachie Nguyen's shawl so I could just do double crochet because it's prettier and I like it better. And I realized I was running out of time, so I just had to do the single crochet and film that. And it went okay. But I posted, you know, I do a little video and I do some shots of the whole thing next to it. And I feel like I've made like no progress on this shawl. I'll pull it out if I remember towards the end. And Rachie Nguyen already replied to my post this morning saying, I love watching this grow. And I'm thinking it's grown like an inch since I last worked on it. But thank you. I love when designers comments, like I tag them. So I try to bring it to their attention. And so I'm being a little pokey.
Is that the one you didn't read the pattern and had to rip it back out?
Kind of.
Flower?
Yes.
And
no. I read the pattern. I made assumptions about the pattern, but I did read the pattern. But then I had to go back and reread it to realize that 30 rows in, I messed up.
It goes back to a Rachie Nguyen tweet.
Yeah, Rachie Nguyen just recently tweeted about like
reading or people
should,
reading a pattern fixes a lot of mistakes, and
instead of contacting the designer and going, well, I did not badger the designer.
No,
and say, why did mine not look like yours? I figured it out by reading the pattern. It's looking much better now. I wish I was, I replied to her. I said, I wish I was I should be done with this by now. Crochet goes so fast. I have too many ongoing projects.
Said no knitter, crocheter, crafter ever.
Except for maybe Shia. But I keep coming back to, shout out to Shia. She finishes stuff. She pounds it out, which is awesome.
Listening to her plan.
She's a monogamous knitter, but the planning.
Listening to her plan till Christmas, because she's planning on starting her Papillon owl or cape thing at Christmas. She was like, Friday night, she was talking about she's got all these projects, and she goes, and the way I knit, that should take me till Christmas. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm playing with tomorrow.
I know. I'm like, what am I doing for morning meditation tomorrow? I don't know. I've theorized the whole multitasking versus monogamous knitting. Do you, like, in a 6-month period, would you get the same amount of projects done? Probably not. Probably not. But the monogamous knitter thing probably wins out, but I like to theorize and pretend that working on multiple things at once and getting them all done at the same time would be the same. Probably not. I'm getting out my colors here because what I worked on this morning I've been working on so many projects, and I have a new crochet project I started this weekend that, again, when you obsess over it, crochet goes fast. So if you focus, you can get a lot done. I'll show you all in a minute. But this morning on the Coffee Connections, the chamber event, I was like, I need something mindless. For me, mindless. And the crochet stuff I'm working on needs a little bit more focus. And I tend to have to look at my crochet a little bit more than my knitting. So I can knit. So I worked on my night shift. Long story long. I worked on my night shift. And
you're at the recipe part now.
I'm at choose my own adventure part, which is awesome. But I know it well enough that I can be really mindless, and I can look at the screen and look at other people. So by the time that it came to my introduction, Clark was like, first you have to show us how much you knit. I was trying not to have it like way up in full view of the camera, but it was still in view of the camera a little bit. Didn't want to be too distracting, but I also didn't want like them to be staring at the ceiling of the shop. So these are my 6 colors right now of what I have left. I have all this stuff left, and I finished the written pattern, like the pattern as written.
It looks so cool.
Took me, I'm gonna show that. Woo. I had all that dark and broody and really nice green and blue and purple for so long. I can show it off a little bit closer. Da-da-da. The pattern as written went to here, where all this Slimer green and really neon stuff happened. And then up here at the top, the colors don't pop as much as they do in person, but I went back to the A color, which is this one, was the background color from the beginning all the way up to here, and never became a bubble color on Andrew Maury's Night Shift. And I went, I have leftover yarn because my skeins have more in them. So I'm having fun with clankety clank. The bubble color is now the blue. And I think I'm about to change. I got the single bubbles. I call them the single bubbles and the double bubbles. The single bubble section is done. I got that done while on the Zoom meeting this morning. And I think I'm just gonna go to a new background color because again, this hasn't done the double bubbles yet. And this one, I think, this is off Feederbrook Farm Entropy DK, by the way. Shout out to Lisa. I might have called her Laura last week. Was a little headachy. This one has the most left on it. So I think I might, unless the colors are gonna be way too similar, I'm at the point where I can use her recipe. At the very beginning, she has okay, if you just want to do your own thing, here's the general recipe. And then she has instructions where she tells you what colors to change. But if you're like, nah, I want to make my own, I'm going to choose my own adventure. She has the basic outline. It's like jazz. Basic outline, improvise. Within reason. If you improvise too much carolization, it becomes another beast. And that's also fun if that's what you want to do. Mm-hmm. Conscious choice. So I think what I'm gonna do, and I could get as specific as grabbing out the scale, but right now, visual inspection tells me this is the biggest one. So this is gonna be background color next. And then I think it's gonna become the bubble color, and whatever else I have the most of is gonna become the background color. And I'm gonna play Yarn Chicken and keep going. I think this will be my side knitting when I need something that doesn't need as much focus or attention. It's forward.
Going, like what I noticed is once you start past there, it eats up yarn. Like
it eats up yarn really, yeah. Because this is I am about 200 stitches. I want to say 201 maybe at this point, and so it is going to eat up yarn fast because I had a whole bunch I ripped out of this because I made assumptions and had to rip some out at the beginning part of this pattern. And I've knit all that off just doing these 5 rows of bubbles. This thing that I ripped out like 10 rows only takes up 5 up here, and it's 5 slip stitch rows at that. So it also is approaching the point of losing the will to live. So I'm gonna probably do it when I have distractions of other things going on. We had that question a couple weeks ago with the Dear Becky and Lizzy about how do I make like monotonous knitting more interesting? It's like find something fun to have in the background. The fun thing I had in the background last night while I was working on my more complicated pattern meant I had to rip out part of my pattern. Happens, right? So what are you planning to do with the yarn that you have made, Liz? You've cast something on. Do you have visions, or are you just gonna wing it?
But I'm winging it, and I don't want to say anything until I get more done. And you know,
it's a secret.
It's a secret.
that means she probably hasn't made up her mind.
It's been a while since I've done Magic Loop, so I'm like, is this how I joined in the round? Like, oops.
She said the magic words. You know I made a video about that, right?
Nope, had no clue.
Hopefully your cord is long enough. Is one of the things I'll say. I think it is. I think you can muscle through.
It's a 40 plus 5-inch tips. Mm-hmm. So I've got.
Hopefully it's long enough.
It's long enough.
Because she got a lot of stitches on there. Okay, are you joining to work in the round right now? Okay.
Don't help me.
Never mind. Mhm. But I just want to be helpful. I want to take control is what I want to do. I'm going to not do that. And I'm going to not look over there. And I'm going to talk about other things that I did because I'm looking at time. You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at time and maybe another 10 minutes or so. So, update you all on progress. Oh, my gummy bears are about to fall in my bag. Uh-oh. Can't have that. Oh, this is what we call a hot mess, but it is a hot mess that is rescuable. It's not a hot mess pattern-wise. It's a hot mess with yarn hanging off of it. This is my hip striped sweater. Trying to figure out what is going where right now. My hip striped sweater. It looks like the arms are like folded in front right now.
You have t-shirt length sleeves.
Mm-hmm. I have like almost 3/4 length, like I'm doing 2 at a time sleeves, so they have to move in unison like a puppet kind of, because they're connected. I could try this on, but I'd probably accidentally rip out the needles.
It's really awkward trying it on 2 at a time.
Yeah. Have you sounds like you've tried, Liz. Yeah, I'm down to like my elbows on the sleeves. And yes, I'm doing them 2 at a time on 2 circulars. I've showed that off before, which, you know, ignore all the yarn hanging off of it. I have half of each sleeve on the black cord and half of each sleeve on the clear cord. And I am making progress, but I'm getting distracted by all my other things. So the body took less than a week, took like a weekend. And the sleeves are still not done because I'm bouncing around
sleeves and you lose the will to live.
I'm bouncing around between too many projects. And we had our Facebook Live and our virtual Zoom sit and stitch at the same time this Saturday. And I made some progress. I made some progress on a bunch of different things, but I also got distracted on Saturday because I started playing around with the new toy we have in the shop, which I'm going to show off a whole lot more tomorrow, a Nostipin. That's going to be on our VSC. Maybe I'll even try showing you a little, and I'll probably mess it up on the VSC. I did the same thing last night, Liz, because I got through one whole skein. I spent like an hour on the weekend sit and stitch, winding a ball by hand on this. And I did that again last night, but I think it came out better. These might make return visits if there's any yarn left on them. This is my 4th ball of yarn that I've spun on a Nostipin, and this was my like 2nd. And because it's so thin and I was getting distracted and it was really late at night, there's parts of this that are prettier than others, but I still think, look, it's so cute.
It looks like a cake.
This one's falling apart more because I knit from the inside of it and it's a little empty.
Hold on.
What? Remember, we're gonna save Nostipinning for tomorrow.
We are saving Nostipinning for tomorrow. But
she's saying hold on for something. What the? But this is gonna hide it. But yeah, we do love these.
If you're
gonna just threw a yarn cozy at me.
If you're gonna pull from the center,
we advertised these last Wednesday. We don't have these stars in stock. We have other things in stock. What I would do, since this is starting to collapse right now and not look as pretty, and I'm not showing it off as much. Wow. Hang on. Hot mess.
No.
Problem thing, whatever. Okay, I found the center. What I would do to keep the outside from unraveling and stuff, I've put it on like a little cuff. Look, it's like I'm back in the 80s. Ooh, Madonna. And I'm gonna pull it over my little ball. My cute little ball. Could have done that better, but you know, I'm on the spot because you threw a yarn cozy at me. But now I've got it on there. I could put it more in the center, and now I can pull from the center here.
And it'll keep
the shape. Now this one still looks good. So, and I've used it up. These come in sets of 3, by the way. Shameless plug. Everything in my life at this point is a shameless plug for the shop in some way, or someone I know, you So that's ready to go when I need that. So what is all this about? I'm using Aini, which is an awesome, let me see. Here's that gray before it was wound. Aini, look on my Instagram for some cute pictures. It is baby alpaca and silk, 80% baby alpaca, 20% silk. It's a light sport weight. I had been eyeing, I was like, I just need to start another project. And I think it's Beth who recently, shout out to Beth. She recently did like a honeycomb type crochet thing, a blanket that reminded me of this shawl that I keep wanting to do. So, I got
your class too on Saturday that
she was doing just a triangle shawl. Oh. She wasn't doing anything too complicated. Shout out to Christy, but she was doing great by the time we ended. I was already thinking about this before, but I had a crochet lesson on Saturday. Liz is right. This shawl called the Hotel of Bees, that honestly, when you look at the picture, it looks cool and it's got these hexagrams in it. And it's more complicated than I thought it was when I bought it, but I'm really happy because it's fun. I got a little addicted to it. My morning meditation, I want to say on like Saturday, might have been this. And I was only a couple rows in. I started this on the sit and stitch, so it wasn't my morning meditation. I started it on the sit and stitch. It must have been Sunday. Who can tell what day it is anymore, right? Yeah. I only had a few rows done. And this is the front. And crochet, when you're really invested in it, goes really fast. So, ooh, look, if I hold it up, Liz, like this, you can kind of see the hexagrams.
Oh yeah, I noticed. Well, when you took the picture and sent it to me, I was like, I think that's what it's supposed to look like. So you can see the little.
It's supposed to be a little denser. Like my stitches are really open, but can you see the hexagrams there? Yeah, yeah. It's sport weight, and this is a really light sport weight. It's almost a fingering weight, and I'm doing it on the regular needle the hook it says to do it on. I like you hook here, and I'm a loose crocheter. But that means, I was telling Liz, that means it's gonna have awesome drape. So this is for my crocheters out there who want a little bit of challenge. This is the beginning of my Hotel of Bees. And I can't put it on my shirt because then you can't see it, but there's little bees. You make little puffy bees. Look at that right there. Right there. There's my little bee. So I'll show you all as I keep going. I wanted to keep going on this last night, but then I forced myself to wind my Nost pin, which took me to bedtime. And I didn't do anymore because I have to make progress on my other projects too. But yeah, Hotel of Bees. Oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing. And there's a third color at the end here, which I know is too small on your screen to even see. I have chosen what on the line, if you go to Amano's website, they call this mint, and it's a much different looking color than here. It's like a deep teal. I'm super excited. I want to test how much yarn because I've already. This is how far one skein of the yellow got me. This is it. I should only need 2 skeins of this yellow. However, we'll see. What I will say, this is my second skein of yellow. What I will say is this shawl is a triangle shawl, and it's done very differently. Let me hold that look. It's done very differently than a lot of the shawls that we are currently working on. In that it's an asymmetrical triangle shawl, but it starts at the widest point and gets narrower. This side is decreasing as I go, right? I have made this part. Yeah, it's like it's really long rows when you first start, which means I didn't have much progress to show people on Saturday, but they're already getting shorter. And by the time I get down here, it should be flying. So, depending on how many additional projects I add, I might get it done soon. Well, and I talked on Saturday about how I'm sure not all yarn shop owners have this dilemma, but I feel like I kind of have a self-imposed dilemma of wanting to show people, especially in the current situation we have, wanting to show people things they can make and inspire them with ideas. But I want to have things that are for my either beginning knitters and crocheters that they will feel comfortable with to inspire them, or people who need a break from the complicated stuff. And I also want to inspire either the more advanced knitters or the people who are willing to take a leap, or advanced crocheters. And this one I would put in the middle somewhere. I mean, it's not super complicated. You got to pay attention, but it does have some challenging parts of it, which I think can be fun. So yay, Hotel of Bees. I will try to put some kits together for this once I have tested, because that I am a loose crocheter and I'm doing it on the regular size hook hopefully means that I will use more yarn than most people will. I'd always prefer to have a kit be a little overestimating on yarn than underestimating, because I don't want you to run out of yarn. That is, and again, a yarn shop owner's worst nightmare is to sell you a kit and you don't have enough yarn. We would never do that intentionally. Oh my gosh, because I know how that feels, right? So we'll try and make kits. Any crochet shawl though, I put out some cowls in the newsletter this week. Anything crocheted especially, but knit as well. You can change how thick the yarn you use for it if you don't want to use teeny tiny yarn, or if you like teeny tiny yarn and it's not written for that. You just may have to change the needle or hook you're using to compensate. And if it's something that's like a cowl that's repetitive, that's supposed to sit around your neck, you may have to change either how many stitches you cast on or how long you go for. So it depends on how much of a challenge you want to tackle. If you don't want to tackle like changing things and thinking hard about stuff, stick to how it's written.
Some of changing the, like for a shawl, there's no gauge required. So, you know, I go up, but when I first made the Papillon on my 10s out of worsted weight or 10.5s out of worsted weight, I had no idea how big it would come up. So like you either jump out of the boat or you've got to do a lot of math. So like it's not, you know, if
someone on the butterfly knit along was like, I want to make this out of thicker yarn, how much yarn do I need? And it's like, I saw that and I thought of you. And I'm like,
some patterns I've done have been if you bump up the needle size the same amount that they bumped up for the smaller, it will take almost exactly the same yardage in worsted as it does in fingering. But sometimes it doesn't, and you should always
overestimate.
Always
Plan on a lot more than you
if
think
you're
you might need.
And if you don't like math, either use it as an interesting learning experience, or
says the person who doesn't like math.
I don't like it.
Depends on if you like interesting learning experiences or not as well. If you don't like those, okay. So I want to show this off before we go, because the Vikings could descend in 5 minutes, or maybe not. I don't know.
Is it? Oh, it
yeah.
Is? Oh.
Yeah. We got going a little late today, so which is kind of my fault because the chamber thing and various things. So, all the yarn for this is hanging out in the bag. This is the wildflower shawl, and there's another thing I want to say about the bees. I'm gonna squirrel. This is my wildflower shawl so far. Trying not to pull on this enough to pull out the loops. I have kind of live loops going in this. Let's get the little tags out of the way. It has rows of double crochet with very busy variegated yarn for what I'm using, and rows of single crochet and puffs in both. The single crochet is my vivacious burnish, and the whole edge of that, I can't wait. I'm on row 36. I have to get through 44 rows, which I'll get longer, before I can put the edging on this. So I just need to keep plugging away. But this was the one I did this morning. I'm just having so much fun with all of these. I gotta tell you. Oh, what I was gonna say about this, the Hotel of Bees. There's a little confusion in the pattern because there are multiple versions of it. There's like the printer-friendly version, which is 17 pages, and the non-printer-friendly version, which is 22 pages. And then she has a photo guide or like helpful hints Q&A to go with it. And then in the pattern, she says, well, you can see this on photo 9. There's no photos in the pattern. And the Q&A that goes with it, they're not numbered, but they're still very helpful, the pictures. So I think it could be a translation thing, because there's also on this section, which is where I stopped on the weekend QVC, not QVC,
Zoom, Facebook Live.
Monday. The Facebook Live, I stopped because I was reading it and trying to like navigate what's happening on at least 2 computer screens, and the directions. I went, whoa, I'm gonna have to watch the video, because there was a video link. Yay! Can't click it on the paper.
I've tried.
But if you have an electronic copy of the pattern, she has a click to a video link. And so I watched the video link and went, oh, I get it. And it's what makes these little V's down at the bottom, which is really cool. And the V's can be pulled on to really, it's row 5 and row 9. But the video is very helpful. And then I did a little morning meditation on it, which helps someone else out with what to do. So we're all helping each other, which is great.
I think that I had Hotel of Bees in my likes before I started knitting. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's probably been sitting out there 3 years.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it's been in my likes for a while too. And then the beginning of it has a whole lot of single crochet, and Liz went, that's probably why I haven't done it yet. Yeah. But then the later, like the thinner sections have single crochet. The section with the honeycomb or the hexagons right now is a lot of double crochet. So I'm having fun, but I do have to pay attention. I had to rip some out last night because we were watching a show. Anyway, that's a rundown of our weekend. Was there anything, I talked for a lot. Was there anything else you wanted to say about your weekend?
I spun.
She spun
I finished
a lot.
a Papillon. I started a new project today.
Mm-hmm.
Beads came in for my mohair shawl. I need to work on that.
Yeah.
I got lots of.
Oh my gosh, she's got fun things planned. Stay tuned. Shameless plug for, this is the last week of our 3 years in business month anniversary sale, August sale. Online shop, wow, 3 years at checkout as a code will save you 20% in the online shop stuff. And we have people every day who come in and say, but I want this and it's not in your online shop. I'm sorry, I'm trying. I looked, we have over 170 individual like listings. And then if you count all the drop down things you can do that I have to put in and do photos for and do, it's a process. I don't want to whine too much, but we have over 1,200 available things to choose from that you can save 20%. And if it's not there, you can get it at the shop, but the shop doesn't have the 20% off. It's till the end of August, 1 more week. And the other thing I want to make a plug for before we have to go answer the phone, if it rings, is our Becky and Lizzy, dear Becky and Lizzy. If you have questions that you would like answered on air, we will give it our best shot. Like last week, we had to probably disappoint someone with Tunisian crochet and say, we can't answer that the way you want to on air, but we can talk about options and thoughts. We have 1 letter so far for this week. We'll see if any more come in today or tomorrow. We even talked about it, but it's been a long weekend. So
she kept texting me going, there's an online order. There's another online order.
There's another one. We have, if you count them as individual orders, we had a couple people place 2 orders. If you count them as individual orders, we have a good 14 or so. We'll try to hit the people who might be swinging by to pick them up first, and then the mail ones, hopefully they all get in the mail tomorrow.
They'll get in the mail tomorrow, even if we have to show up here at
and be grumpy at the people outside and stuff, which is not totally their fault, but we get grumpy. Anyway. Like I always say, we love you and we miss you, and we hope to see you on a sit and stitch at night or weekend soon, maybe. Oh, I forgot to tell you. She's finding out now on a recording. That's great. The next Saturday sit and stitch, I think we're gonna do it on local yarn store day, which is she's like, which is 3 weeks instead of 4. That's all. Instead of doing, instead she's like, just tell me when to show up, right? Turn on my phone. 4 weeks was going to put us a week after that, and it's a special day, and so we'll do a sit and stitch on local yarn store day. We won't be open for business on that Saturday, but we'll figure stuff out. New normal. We're just trying to survive. So we love you and miss you all. And even the people we haven't met yet, you're still part of our community, and we miss you. So let us know if you liked what you watched today. Subscribe. Hit the bell, all that fun stuff. Ding, 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 ding. My bell, my done bell is at home for sit and stitch. We have a ding bell, but I take it home so we can ding when people finish things and celebrate. So it's time to go.
It is.
And you'll hopefully see this video sometime today. Stay tuned. We will talk Nostipins tomorrow, and I'm sure some other yarn. We just haven't figured
More
out
yummies. I mean, it's going to be fun.
all yummy. It's all good.
And who knows what boxes are coming in the mail today.
Today, I'm not sure, but Cascade is coming maybe next week.
Stay tuned for Adventures of Liz and Rebecca on Thursday. VSC tomorrow.
Okay. Just watch us all the time. That's all.